Not long ago, Abdullah al-Jurjawi stood before the Khairukum Quranic Society in Jeddah. He had just passed their official Quran memorization test. The entire Quran, all 30 juz, from memory. He was 65 years old and he had memorized it all in just 10 months. Now most of us would say, MashaAllah, may Allah bless him, and move on. But as someone who has dedicated his life to helping Muslims recite and memorize the Quran, I took Abdullah's achievement very seriously. And so did the rest of the Muslim world. You see, Abdullah was no ordinary 65-year-old. He was officially recognized as the oldest person in Jeddah to memorize the entire Quran that year. His story is now cited in Hifz books and courses worldwide. But here's what struck me most. Abdullah had read from the Quran his entire adult life, pages every single day. Yet, he never attempted full Hifz until after he retired. Why? Because, like most adults, he believed his time had passed, that memorization was for the young. So what changed? What allowed a 65-year-old man to accomplish in 10 months what most people can't do in 10 years? The answer may surprise you. It's not what you'd expect. It contradicts everything you've been taught about Quran memorization. And it has nothing to do with being gifted, nothing to do with having extra time. Abdullah simply stopped fighting his brain and started working with it. The discovery I'm about to share with you today is backed by science. MIT and Stanford have studied it on how specifically the brain stores information. But you'd never know about it because it goes against traditional method. It explains why you keep forgetting, why you repeat and repeat, but nothing sticks. We've been approaching Quran memorization wrong this whole time, but neuroscience is changing that now. All it takes is a simple shift in how you memorize, something you can do at home. Thousands of Muslim adults are now using this method. They say it's given them permanent retention. They report memorizing faster than they ever thought possible. Some say their Hifz journey finally feels achievable. There is no endless repetition or 5-hour sessions. The method uses 3 memory systems your brain already has. So we're going to explore it now because this isn't like anything you'll find on YouTube, in any app, or in traditional Hifz programs. My name is Hafid Abdul Rahman. I completed my Hifz in 2013, and the discovery I'm about to share with you came from my own painful struggle. And stay with me, this gets powerful inshallah. How does Quran memorization actually work? You can think of your brain cells as tiny storage units, and memory is information stashed inside these brain cells. Now the truth is, these brain cells work differently depending on your age. When we look at a child's brain at age 7, 8 or 10, they process information in a specific way called sequential encoding. This is why children can repeat something 50 times and it sticks. Their brains are literally designed for this type of learning. But here's the catch. The area of your brain responsible for how you learn and process information, called your prefrontal cortex, undergoes a massive transformation. At age 25, it fully matures and everything changes. How dramatic is this change? Imagine you're driving a car on a highway and suddenly the road changes from asphalt to sand. Your car still runs, but not the same way. That sand represents what happens to sequential learning after 25. Your brain still works, but it's now designed for a completely different type of memorization. And nobody told you this. Now, if you're over 25 and you've tried memorizing Quran and you forget what you memorized the next day, or you feel stuck on the same page for weeks, or you just feel like your memory isn't what it used to be, you can know without a doubt something specific is happening inside your brain, and it's not what you think. As someone who studied both traditional Islamic sciences and modern cognitive research, I had to know why adults struggle so much with Hifz. The truth surprised me, and it might shock you too. Scientists have discovered that after age 25, your brain actually resists sequential memorization. It fights against it. Let me show you what's happening. When you sit down to memorize using the traditional method, you repeat an ayah 50, 60, maybe even 100 times. Each repetition goes into something called your working memory. Think of working memory like a small table that can only hold a few items at a time. For children, items on this table transfer easily to permanent storage. But for adults over 25, this transfer process gets blocked. The items sit on that small table, then fall off. You wake up the next morning and the table is empty. The verses are gone. It's like pouring water into a bucket with holes. You keep pouring, but nothing stays. I call this the sequential memory trap. And it's the real reason you keep forgetting. Not because you have a weak memory, not because you're old, not because you lack discipline. You're using a childhood method on an adult brain, and your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do, rejecting it. The sequential memory trap creates a vicious cycle. You repeat an ayah 50 times. It enters short-term memory temporarily. The next day, your brain has naturally cleared short-term memory. You've forgotten it. You feel frustrated and think, I have a bad memory. You lose confidence. You try even harder with the same method. Same results, more exhaustion. Eventually, you feel like giving up, thinking hifz is impossible for you. And here's the tragedy. It's not that you have a weak memory. It's not that you're old. It's not that you lack tawakkul or dedication. You are using the wrong tool for your brain, and your brain is simply protecting itself. I want every Muslim to know, if you're over 25 and struggling with hifz, I urge you to understand why the solutions you've tried haven't worked. Because there is something you can do starting today, inshallah. But first, let me show you why other approaches fail. Let's look at the 4 most common solutions people try, and then I'll share with you what actually works. Solution number 1. Traditional rote repetition, as mentioned. Repeat each ayah 50 to 100 times until it sticks. This is the method used in madrasas worldwide. It works beautifully for children ages 7 to 12. But here's the problem. This method was designed for brains that haven't fully developed yet. After age 25, your prefrontal cortex, your brain's learning center, fundamentally changes how it processes information. The mature brain naturally resists sequential learning patterns. What worked at age 7 becomes biologically incompatible at age 25 and beyond. It's like trying to run a modern smartphone app on a 1995 computer. Complete system incompatibility. And yet, this is what 99% of hifz programs teach, even to adults. Solution number 2. Mosque programs and traditional classes. These are wonderful for children who can spend 5 to 6 hours daily in structured environments. But for working adults, for parents, the schedule conflicts alone make it nearly impossible. And even when you do attend, the curriculum doesn't account for adult learning need. The pace is wrong, the pressure is wrong, the method is still the childhood method. You might feel embarrassed when you struggle in front of others, and the guilt only grows. The solution number 3, Quran apps and generic online courses. I've reviewed dozens of these. The big problem, they're one size fits all, with no understanding of adult brain science. They focus on quantity of repetition, not quality of retention. They're still using the traditional childhood method, just on a screen, missing the strategic review system, missing the techniques that actually work for adult learners. You end up in the same cycle. Memorize, forget, repeat. Memorize, forget, repeat. Solution number 4. Hiring a private Quran teacher. This can work, but it's extremely expensive. We're talking $200 to $2,000 per month or more, depending on the teacher. That's $2,400 to $24,000 per year. And here's the painful truth. Most teachers, may Allah bless them, still use traditional childhood methods. They may not understand adult learning psychology. So what's the solution? This is where my story becomes your breakthrough, inshallah. When I decided that I wanted to memorize the Quran, I faced every obstacle you might be facing today. The forgetting, the overwhelm, the doubt, the time pressure, the frustration. I tried everything. I followed traditional rote methods, endless frustration. I attended mosque classes, schedule conflicts, and slow progress. I pushed myself to spend 5 to 6 hours daily, burnout and exhaustion. One particularly difficult day, after forgetting an entire page I had spent weeks memorizing, I hit a breaking point. I was ready to give up. I made dua that night. Real, desperate dua. And then I asked myself a question that changed everything. There has to be a better way. If people can memorize decks of cards, thousands of phone numbers, and complex scientific information using memory techniques, surely these principles can be applied to Quran memorization. That night began an intensive research journey. I studied cognitive neuroscience and how adult brains actually learn. I studied memory championship techniques and spatial memory systems. I studied educational psychology and learning style adaptation. I studied successful adult hip students and asked, what were they doing differently? For a while, the work was so daunting, I almost felt like giving up. Thousands of studies on adult learning, brain plasticity, memory formation. But I also knew the only person working day and night on applying this to Quran memorization was me. The breakthrough came when I discovered something that changed the way I think about health forever. I found that the problem was never the students. The problem was sequential memory encoding. Traditional rote memorization forces information to be stored in linear sequential order through pure repetition. But here's what the research revealed. After age 25, your brain has 3 powerful memory systems that actually get stronger as you age. Not weaker, stronger. And these are the systems we need to use. Remember that word for a moment. 3 systems. Right now, you have these 3 memory systems sitting inside your brain. We all do, but for Quran memorization, they're dormant for almost everyone, including you and me, when we use traditional methods. But if we could somehow activate these 3 systems for hifz, memorization would become almost effortless. And I have good news. We can. Let me introduce you to what I call Spatial Semantic Integration, or SSI. This is a scientifically proven memorization system that leverages the 3 powerful memory systems that actually get stronger as you age, instead of fighting against your adult brain. System number 1, the spatial mapping system. This is your brain's ability to remember physical locations and spatial arrangements. Here's how powerful it is. Close your eyes right now. Can you mentally walk through your childhood home? Can you remember every room, where the furniture was, the color of the walls? Even if you haven't been there in decades, you can probably still remember it clearly. That's your spatial memory. It's incredibly powerful, and it doesn't decline with age. We anchor Quranic verses to what we call memory palaces, familiar locations in your mind like rooms in your house, landmarks on your commute, places you know well. The result, verses become as unforgettable as the layout of your own home, because your brain treats them as spatial information. System number 2, semantic networks or meaning connection. This is your brain's ability to connect information through meaning, context, and emotional significance. Think about this. You remember someone's name much better when you associate it with something meaningful, right? Adult brains are masters at creating these connections. We link every verse to its meaning, context, emotional impact, and relationship to other verses. The Quran stops being random words to memorize. It becomes a deeply interconnected, meaningful story that naturally stays in memory. System number 3, multi-sensory chunking. This is breaking large amounts of information into meaningful chunks and encoding them through multiple senses simultaneously. Your brain doesn't have to process every word individually. It remembers patterns and groups. So we break verses into semantic chunks, then attach vivid mental images, physical movements, emotional anchors, and rhythmic patterns. Your brain doesn't just see the words, it experiences them in multiple dimensions, creating multiple pathways to retrieve them. When you combine these 3 systems, something remarkable happens. You bypass the sequential memory trap entirely. You're no longer forcing repetition, hoping something sticks. Instead, you tap into memory systems designed for permanent retention. Memorization stops being a battle and becomes natural, even effortless. This is why memory champions can memorize decks of cards in minutes. They're not smarter than you, they're using the right systems. And these techniques are scientifically proven. Memory Palace technique is used by memory champions worldwide. Semantic encoding is proven to create 3 to 7 times stronger memories than rote repetition. Multisensory learning is backed by 40 years of cognitive science research. Studies show spatial memory remains strong even as we age. I started experimenting with these techniques for Quran memorization and also taught it to my students. Subhanallah, the results were immediate and remarkable. Verses that took hours to memorize now took minutes. Retention jumped from days to months. Memorization felt natural instead of forced. I could memorize 3 to 4 pages per day with perfect recall. In 2013, Alhamdulillah, I completed my hifz using these revolutionary techniques. But more importantly, the retention lasted. Years later, I could still recall verses effortlessly. And Alhamdulillah, I lead Taraweeh prayers every single year. Friends and family noticed my transformation. How are you memorizing so fast? Why don't you forget like I do? Can you teach me this method? This is when I realized this system needed to be shared. I began teaching small groups, refining the system based on student feedback, discovering which techniques work best for different learning styles. What started as helping a few friends became Recitation Academy. Over 15,000 students have now transformed their hifz journey using this exact system through our academies. Let me share some of the stories with you. Mahmoud wrote to us and said, I used to forget ayahs so quickly, but now they actually stick. The techniques work. I repeated the same surah for months before this program. Within 2 weeks of using the Memory Palace method, I memorized more than I had in the previous 6 months combined. Sarah from Canada said, before this, I kept stopping and starting. Now, I memorize consistently without stress. I'm a mother of 4 with a full-time job. I thought hifz was impossible for me. The 20-minute daily routine fits perfectly into my schedule. For the first time in my life, I feel like I can actually complete this journey. Bilal from London wrote, I never knew memorization could be this easy. The Memory Palace method is a game changer. I am 52 years old. I started hifz multiple times and always gave up. I told myself I was too old. This program proved me wrong. I am now on my 3rd juz and my retention is stronger than ever. Think about Abdullah Al-Jurjawi, the 65-year-old from Jeddah I mentioned at the beginning. He read the Quran his entire life, but never attempted hifz until retirement. Everyone, including himself, believed his time had passed. But once he found the right teacher and the right approach, he memorized the entire Quran in just 10 months. He wasn't gifted, he wasn't special. He simply used methods that worked with his adult brain instead of against it. We've received hundreds of stories like this. Working professionals who memorize during their lunch break, parents who memorize while their children sleep, seniors who thought their time had passed, and even younger students who were still at university or high school, all discovering that the problem was never them, it was the method. The system works because it's backed by science and designed specifically for adult brains. Students report memorizing 3 to 10 times faster than with traditional methods. 95% or higher retention rates months after memorization. Average daily memorization of 4 to 5 pages per day compared to struggling with a few lines before. We call this complete system the 8-week hifz mastery course, and we turned it into a comprehensive program anyone can use starting today. So far, it's helped over 15,000 everyday Muslims improve their memorization and achieve what they once thought was impossible. The 8-week hifz mastery course is the leading memorization system developed by combining traditional Islamic knowledge with advanced cognitive science. It's designed specifically for Muslim adults over 25. It is still perfect if you are under 25. It's simple, easy, and you can do it at home. Just dedicate 20 to 45 minutes daily following the structured curriculum. Week by week, you will master each technique. By week 8, you'll have your personalized memorization blueprint and the 4-phase retention system that ensures what you memorize stays with you for life. It begins working the very first time you apply it. You can do it from the privacy of your own home at your own pace. There is no traveling to classes or scheduling conflicts. You're not endlessly repeating, hoping something sticks. You're strategically encoding verses using your brain's most powerful memory systems. The result? An activated Hifz journey, reconnecting you with the ability to memorize that you thought you'd lost. Many students report that techniques feel like someone pressed the reset button on their brain. You will notice verses actually staying in memory, like you're in control again. As you practice more each day, retention gets stronger and new abilities begin to unlock. In your salah, the verses are there for you as you need them. No more blanking out, no more anxiety. You're quickly able to memorize what used to take you weeks, even when it takes others much longer. And did you know that the deepest learning happens when multiple memory systems are engaged? So you will find it easier to remember not just the words, but the meanings, the context, the flow. One student just wrote how much easier he's finding it to lead Taraweeh prayers now. Best of all, using these techniques means healthy, permanent retention is back. You are claiming your dream of becoming a Hafiz or a Hafizah. Your heart is at ease, knowing you're finally building a lasting relationship with the Quran. Give it a few weeks, and you might even find you memorize better than people who are years younger. Since its release, the 8-week Hifz Mastery course has helped thousands of Muslims around the world experience a transformation in their Hifz journey. Imagine what your life will look like. Waking up excited to memorize rather than dreading it. Reciting confidently in your salah without hesitation or mental blanks. Standing in Taraweeh prayers and recognizing every verse the Imam recites. Leading prayers with multiple surahs memorized perfectly. Spending just 20 to 45 minutes daily on memorization, not 5 or 6 hours. Completing pages in days rather than weeks or months. Never experiencing the forgetting anxiety again. Having a clear, simple daily routine that fits into your busy life. Imagine the deep inner peace and spiritual fulfillment. The confidence in your memory and learning abilities. The pride in achieving what once seemed impossible. The freedom from guilt and shame about not completing Hifz. Imagine becoming a role model for your children. Being able to teach and inspire others. Earning the title of Hafiz or Hafizah. Receiving the crown for your parents on the Day of Judgment. The blessing of interceding for 10 family members. That's the life you deserve. And you can have it, inshallah, when you get access to the 8-week Hifz Mastery course. By now, you should realize that I take great pride in the work that I do. My reputation in the Muslim community is everything, and I would only ever attach my name to a program if I 100% believe in it. Alhamdulillah, I've seen this system transform thousands of lives. Bottom line is a lot of time and resources went into developing this system. Over 10 hours of professionally produced 4K video content, motion graphics and animations for visual learning, 8 progressive weekly modules, lifetime access to all content. However, when you compare the price to the alternatives, it will seem like a blessing. Think about it. A private Quran teacher costs $200 to $2,000 per month. That's $2,400 to $24,000 per year. Traditional Hifz programs require years of your time with uncertain results. Memory courses alone typically cost $500 to $1,500. And given the transformation that mastering these techniques can have on your life, on your akhirah, on your relationship with Allah's book, we could easily offer this at a very high price. Think about it. How much would you be willing to invest to finally memorize the Quran? What about reciting with confidence in every salah? What would it be worth to give your parents the crown on the Day of Judgment? How much would you invest for the intercession of 10 family members? What would you spend for this kind of life-changing transformation? $500? $1,000? $2,000? Because aside from the financial investment, there's also the spiritual cost of waiting. Every Ramadan that passes without progress, every salah where you struggle to remember, Every year you tell yourself, next year inshallah. You can't put a price on your relationship with the Quran. You can't put a price on standing before Allah with His book in your heart. Many of my colleagues have suggested this program would be incredible value even at $997, which is what the course alone is worth. However, because my main goal with this program was to help as many Muslims as possible, we made it accessible. That means you don't need to invest $997 to get your hands on this breakthrough system. In fact, you don't need to invest $500 or even $300. But that's not all. Because you've made it this far, it's obvious you're serious about memorizing the Quran. You're interested in seeing how this one-of-a-kind system can help you the same way it's helping thousands of others. Which is why, when you enroll today, I am including 5 incredible bonuses that aren't available anywhere else. These bonuses alone are worth more than the entire course. Bonus number 1, the 14-day Tajweed Mastery Program. This is a complete course to master Quran recitation with proper Tajweed in just 14 days, spending only 20 minutes a day. Detailed, structured, step-by-step, and professionally recorded. This bonus alone is worth $297, but you get it free when you enroll today. Why is this important? Proper Tajweed actually helps memorization. When you pronounce correctly, the rhythm and flow become natural. Your brain encodes the sound more efficiently. Many students tell us this bonus alone transformed their recitation. Bonus number 2, the 7-day Tafsir Mastery Course. This is an in-depth tafsir of the most common surahs, the ones you recite daily in your prayers. Understanding the meaning behind what you're memorizing makes verses 10 times more memorable. When you know why an ayah was revealed, what it means, and how it connects to other verses, your semantic memory system activates. Memorization becomes almost automatic. This bonus is worth $197. Yours free today. Bonus number 3, 2 months free of live weekly Tajweed classes. That's 8 weeks of live sessions with expert instructors. A community learning environment where you can ask questions and get personalized feedback. Perfect your recitation while building retention. These classes normally cost $50 per week. That's $400 in value. Yours free when you enroll today. Bonus number 4, Palestine donation. For every enrollment, we donate 5 meals to our brothers and sisters in Palestine on your behalf. You're not just investing in your health journey, you're making a difference in the Ummah. Subhanallah. Bonus number 5, private community access. Join over 30,000 brothers and sisters who are mastering Hifz together. Lifetime access to our private community. Find accountability partners, share experiences and encouragement. Get support when you need it. This community alone is worth hundreds. The motivation and support from fellow students has been life-changing for many. Yours free today. Let's add this up. The main course, $997 value. 14-day Tajweed Mastery, $297 value. 7-day Tafsir course, $197 in value. 2 months of live classes, $400 value. Community access, $197 value. That's over $2,000 in total value. But you won't pay anywhere close to that, because I want this to be accessible to every Muslim who is serious about memorizing the Quran. For a limited time, you can get the complete 8-week Hifz Mastery course plus all 5 bonuses for a special discounted price of $67. And all I ask in return is that you consider sending us a success story once you experience the transformation that many of our students are now experiencing. Remember, this offer is not available anywhere else. The only way to get this complete system at this price is right from this page. And you should know that this is lifetime access. It's yours forever. All future updates included free, no monthly fees, no recurring charges. One investment and you have the complete system for life. Even with all of this, you might be thinking, what if this doesn't work for me? I understand. You've been disappointed before. You've tried methods that promised results but delivered frustration. So let me remove all the risk from your decision. Inshallah, this will be one of the greatest investments you'll make. Alhamdulillah, we are confident in that. But if for any reason this program has not worked for you, please email us and we will refund you 100% of your money. It's a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's a full 60 days to try the entire system, apply the techniques, see the results for yourself. If you're not completely satisfied, you don't pay a penny. No questions asked. Just send an email to info@quranrecitationacademy.com. That means you don't even need to make a decision right now. Just say maybe and you will have 60 days to test it out for yourself. Watch as the forgetting stops. Watch as you go about your days actually retaining what you memorize. Watch as the verses flow in your salah. See how your family notices the change. Feel the peace of knowing you're finally on the path to becoming a hafiz or hafidah. Then decide if you want to keep it. The truth is, 60 days is incredibly generous. Most people who follow the system begin to see the results within the first week or two. But as someone putting my reputation on the line, it's important for me that you feel complete confidence. I work with the friendliest support team, alhamdulillah, who are easy to reach and ready to answer any questions. There's simply no risk to you. The only risk you could possibly face is the pain and regret of missing out on this opportunity when you had the chance. Every day you wait is another day without the Quran in your heart. Another salah where you struggle. Another night wondering if this dream will ever become reality. I urge you to enroll today, inshallah. All you need to do to claim your access and take advantage of this risk-free offer is to click the button below and complete your enrollment. Go ahead and click the button below. You are always protected by our 60-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. The enrollment page is fully protected using the latest security for total privacy and protection. Just enter your information and you'll get immediate access to the entire program. You can start the first module today. And because it's digital, there is no shipping fees or waiting. You begin your transformation immediately, inshallah. Still watching? Still making your decision? Ever since we released this program, we've gotten all kinds of questions. So let me answer a few of the most common ones while you're sitting there deciding. The first question is from Ahmed in Toronto, who asks, what makes this different from traditional hifz methods? There are three big differences. First, traditional methods use sequential memory encoding, which works against adult brains. Our system uses spatial semantic integration, which works with adult brains. Second, traditional methods require 5 to 6 hours of endless repetition. Our system works in just 20 to 45 minutes daily. Third, traditional methods have no strategic review system, so you constantly forget. Our system includes the 4-phase SCI retention loop that ensures permanent retention. The result? Students memorize 3 to 10 times faster with 95% or higher retention rates. Aisha from London asks, I've tried before and failed many times. Why would this be different? Sister Aisha, the reason you failed before has nothing to do with you. It was the method. You were using sequential memory encoding, the childhood method on an adult brain. That's like trying to run a modern app on a 1995 computer. System incompatibility. This program uses techniques specifically designed for how adult brains actually work. Over 2,000 students who previously failed have succeeded with this system because we're finally using the right tool for the job. Your past failures are not a prediction of your future. They were just proof you hadn't found the right method yet. Now, Muhammad from New York asks, I don't have enough time. I'm too busy with work and family. Brother Muhammad, that is exactly why this system was created. Traditional methods require 5 to 6 hours daily of repetition. Our system works in just 20 to 45 minutes per day. Think about it. You probably spend more time on social media daily. And here's the key. Being busy actually makes you a better candidate for this system. Busy adults force efficiency. You can't waste 5 hours, so you will apply the techniques more seriously. Many of our most successful students are doctors, engineers, and parents with less free time than you. They found a way, you can too, inshallah. Khadija from Sydney asks, I'm 58 years old. Am I too old for this? Sister Khadija, this is the biggest myth about memorization. Here's the truth. As I said, after age 25, certain types of memory actually get better, not worse. Your spatial memory, semantic memory, and pattern recognition all improve with age. The only thing that declines is sequential working memory, which is exactly what traditional rote memorization uses. That's why traditional methods feel impossible for adults. But the three memory systems our program uses are at their peak in your adult years. We have successful students in their 60s and 70s. Remember Abdullah al-Jurjawi, who memorized the entire Quran at age 65 in just 10 months? Age is not the barrier. Using the wrong method for your age is the barrier. Yusuf from Dubai asks, what if I still forget even with this system? Brother Yusuf, this system includes the 4-phase SCI retention loop specifically designed to prevent forgetting. Traditional methods have you memorize, but never strategically review. It's like filling a bucket with holes. Of course you forget. Our system teaches you when to review with optimal spacing intervals, how to review with active recall techniques, what to review with a priority-based system, and how to test your retention with verification methods. Plus, with the Memory Palace and PEG systems, you're creating multiple retrieval pathways. Even if one pathway weakens, you have 3 to 4 other ways to access the same verse. Students report 95% or higher retention months after memorization. That's not luck, that's system design. Fatima from Malaysia asks, what if I don't understand Arabic well? Sister Fatima, that's not a barrier at all. Many of our most successful students don't speak Arabic fluently. The memorization techniques work with the sounds and patterns, not necessarily deep language fluency. We include the Tafsir course specifically to help you understand meaning. Understanding actually helps memorization, but isn't required to start. The course teaches you how to break down ayahs phonetically. Visual and spatial techniques work regardless of language background. Remember, children memorize without understanding every word at first. Adults have an advantage. We can layer meaning on top of memorization to make it even stronger. Ibrahim from California asks, I need to fix my tajweeds first before memorizing. Brother Ibrahim, perfect timing. This program includes the 14-day Tajweed Mastery course and 2 months of free live Tajweed classes. You will be improving Tajweed while memorizing, not waiting to start. Here's the reality. Waiting for perfect Tajweed before starting memorization is just procrastination. Shaitan loves to delay us. You can refine pronunciation as you memorize. In fact, memorization helps solidify proper Tajweed because you're repeating correct patterns. The course teaches you how to integrate Tajweed improvement with memorization progress. They enhance each other. How fast do you get access? The program is delivered immediately after enrollment because it's digital. You don't have to wait for anything to be mailed. You can begin your first module within minutes, inshallah. Now, I want to be honest with you about why I do this work. When I struggled with hifz, I felt alone. I felt ashamed. I wondered if Allah had written this blessing for others, but not for me. That feeling of spiritual inadequacy, of watching others recite while you struggle, it's painful. That's what drives me to help people today. I know the problems you face when your hifz journey is filled with forgetting and frustration. You get tired faster. You can't make progress like you want to. You feel like you're failing. You stop trying. You start to withdraw from your dream. It's like the light of hope starts to dim. That's why every day, my greatest joy is reading the new messages from students. You deserve to wake up every day excited about memorization. You deserve to have the ability to easily retain verses, key concepts, and important connections. You deserve to stand in salah and recite from your heart. You deserve to be honored with the title of Hafil or Hafila. You deserve to give your parents the crown on the day of judgment. You deserve to intercede for 10 family members. That's a gift from Allah that we should all strive for. And you deserve to feel that peace of mind that you are honoring the Quran, that you are building a relationship with Allah's book that will last into eternity. You're only a click away from starting your transformation now. I've done everything possible to make this program affordable and attainable to any Muslim who wants it. And if you're still watching to this point, still relating to what I'm talking about, then this could be the single biggest breakthrough in your Hifz journey. Claim your access to the 8-week Hifz Mastery course now. Go ahead, click the button below and complete your enrollment to take advantage of today's special price. You will get immediate access and you're always protected by our 60-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. There's really nothing to lose. Experience what it's like to finally memorize with confidence, where your retention is strong, your recitation is beautiful, your relationship with the Quran is deep and lasting. Watch how your spiritual life takes on a whole new meaning as you reclaim your ability to memorize Allah's words. That's the life you deserve, and you can have it today when you click the button below and enroll in the 8-week Hifz Mastery course. And let me be the first to welcome you to our community and congratulate you on this wise decision. May Allah bless your journey, increase your memory, and grant you success in becoming a Hafiz or Hafidha. Ameen. Jazakumullahu khairan for watching, and may Allah make the Quran the spring of your heart.